Thanks to Squarespace for making today's video possible. The smartphone space has seen a lot of diverse growth in the past few years, and that's great news for consumers. We can opt for the latest technologies or go with something a little cheaper, like the newly released OnePlus 5. OnePlus is one of those companies that brings you the bare essentials and packages it very well. The OnePlus 5 will be the most expensive handset in the company's history, starting at $480. The more expensive model I have here costs $540 and it ups the storage from 64 to 128 gigabytes of space and its RAM from 6 to 8 gigabytes, and we're talking DDR4 here. We will get more into the performance later, but let's start with the hardware. When press renders were released, the OnePlus 5 was remarked as the iPhone clone, and for good reason. The cameras and the antenna lines are identical and the screen to body ratio is very similar. But in the hand, the two devices couldn't seem more different. The OnePlus 5 is 7.5mm thin with rounded corners that conforms to your hand. They've kept a lot of the design elements from past models, like the port locations and the alert slider, which by the way changes the sound profile to either silent, do not disturb, or ring. The fingerprint reader is now quicker, and so far I haven't had any trouble with recognition. It's in the same spot also, flanked by the back and recent capacitive buttons. Unfortunately, this phone doesn't have any water resistance, which at its price we would have liked to see. The display has a resolution of 1080p and it's AMOLED. Now this is where a lot of people are swayed from this device. And at no surprise, the industry standard nowadays is 2K resolution, and there's a big PPI difference between these two numbers. But in actual usage, you won't really notice a difference unless you're holding this side by side with something like the Galaxy S8. It does get bright and has great colors and true blacks from being an AMOLED display, and thanks to the lower resolution we get better battery life and of course better performance. I personally think that this is a worthwhile trade-off. Combine the Snapdragon 835 processor, Adreno 530 and 8 gigs of RAM in a phone, which by the way runs pretty much stock Android, and the end result is a buttery smooth experience. The latest games are no problem, and switching between apps and multitasking is super smooth since so many apps can stay in the memory without any issue. We do get a 3300 mAh battery, which actually comes out to 100 less milliamps when compared to the OnePlus 3T. But battery life is about the same, which is 5 hours of on-screen time, and this is in part thanks to the Snapdragon 835's 10nm design that uses up to 25% less power. Combine the all-day battery life with the super quick dash charge and I have no issues with battery life at all. In my benchmarks, I would gain 50% battery in 30 minutes, which is as fast as it gets in the industry. The dual camera system consists of a 16 megapixel lens and a 20 megapixel telephoto lens. This was the headline feature at launch. They've even got it printed on the box. Does it, however, live up to the claims? In short, no, it doesn't. Performance-wise, it's a mixed bag. It was a hard time keeping up with flagships like the iPhone 7 in dimmer situations from the lack of OIS. It's software stabilized, so the camera needs a higher ISO to compensate for using a faster shutter speed, and then that's when things start to get noisy. But in reasonable lighting, the primary sensor's aperture of 1.7 produces sharp pictures with great depth of field. The dull colors have also been improved from the OnePlus 3, the OnePlus 5 producing vibrant and true-to-life colors. The telephoto lens gets a smaller aperture of 2.6, which makes the primary sensor the only usable one in the dark. This lens gives an optical zoom of 1.6 as well as enabling portrait mode by combining its information with the main sensors. Portrait images are good. They come close to the iPhone 7 Plus's. However, there is a weird halo effect that's more noticeable when subjects have complex edges, but over time, I expect OnePlus to improve on this through updates. Swiping left in the camera UI gets you into video mode, where you have the option of recording in 720, 1080, and also 1080p at 60 FPS, and of course 4K. I would stick to 1080p here as 4K video is not stabilized at all. However, I did read somewhere that this will change soon through a software update. And when it comes to autofocus, it is accurate, but it's a little on the slower side. So the software it's running is Oxygen OS, and it's basically stock Android with a few tweaks on top. We get added customization, like being able to switch between hardware and software buttons. We also get to change system themes and even enable a night mode that changes UI elements across the system. The shelf remains to the left of the home screen, and here we can add widgets and information, although personally I would have liked to see an option to switch to Google Now's page like on the Nexus devices. Also, there's now a gaming do not disturb mode that stops any notification when certain apps like games are open. Another software addition is the extended screenshot mode. It will scroll down a page, capturing it until you tell it to stop. If you can do without an infinity display, then this is a solid phone with all of its latest specs. It runs a close to stock version of Android, and OnePlus has a history of timely updates. It has a great 1080p display and an all-metal design, and the camera can hold its own against top flagships. It does, however, suffer in low light due to the lack of OIS. Hopefully OnePlus continues to tweak its performance through software updates. So is the OnePlus 5 worth its price tag? Well, it depends on what you're looking for. So that does it for my review of the OnePlus 5. I will be giving away this phone to one lucky subscriber, and if you guys want to enter, all you have to do is drop a like on the video and let me know in the comment section if you want to enter for the giveaway. The winner will be announced at the end of July on my Twitter account, so make sure you guys are following me there. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. But before I go, I want to give a huge thanks to Squarespace for making this video possible. Squarespace, of course, is the all-in-one platform to create your very own beautiful website. They make it extremely easy to do. You guys don't need to know anything about coding. In fact, it's so easy that even I can do it. I love their platform. I've been using their website services for about 4 years now. In fact, my most recent one is dealsource.tech, and I absolutely love it. They have a bunch of beautiful templates you guys can choose from, or you can start from scratch, kind of like what I did with my own website. But if you guys haven't already, check them out at squarespace.com/techsource, and you guys can get 10% off your first purchase. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.